to Julie.
Okay, it's Search Warrant, and we're live. You can listen to us on the Rumble, YouTube, LinkedIn, and on the audio side, you can listen to us on iHeart, Spotify, Spreaker, and anywhere you get your audio podcasts. But right now, you can catch us on Rumble, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Okay, who's our special guest, or who's our host today? We've got Detective Jake Jacobs from Philadelphia Homicide and the Officer Involved Shooting Unit. And we've got veteran NCIS Special Agent Greg Highlands from Tennessee. So how's things going in Tennessee?
Well, we got warm weather. It's 60 degrees and the snow's melted. So not bad.
So, Jake, the Mid-Atlantic, what kind of weather you got?
We're in the 40s, so we're not as great as Greg, but Greg had that little serious storm that come through his way last week, so we balancing out.
Okay, so I told you guys about this, but you haven't adhered to it. So I want to, make sure that you understand the message. Okay?
Uh-oh. When you use those big words like adhere.
I hate you. I'll say it loud enough for all those in the back. If you're drawing your eyebrows on, I hate you. I hate you a lot. Furthermore, if you're shaving your eyebrows off to draw them on how you see fit, you have serious mental disorders. You need professional psychological help. Okay? It doesn't look good. I don't care what your friends tell you. I don't care what your mom tells you. It looks terrible. Stop. Stop it immediately. You're not welcome in Gotham. You will not find success in life. The second any human being looks you in your stupid eyebrows,
Okay, so stop drawing your eyebrows on. Okay? Will you promise to do that now?
Is that an Olympic snowboarder from Oregon?
Huh? The Joker with a message to stop, writing your eyebrows on. So anyway, we've got several special guests this episode. We've got investigative reporter Ralph Cipriano, Frank Parlato, who corroborates with Ralph Cipriano on a lot of the articles that they come out with. And what?
There you go. As long as you don't draw your eyebrows on, Frank, we're fine.
Yeah, Frank, can you see it? Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Frank was kind enough to dig up some information relative to Epstein as a result of a review of Epstein's emails, which we'd like to hear, and corroborated with Ralph Cipriano on that. Right?
Is Ralph coming on?
He told me before last week that he's more of a paper ink journalist as opposed to, media.
Yeah. Well, considering his appearance, I can completely concur with that.
He draws his eyebrows on, Frank.
No, he's a great reporter, a great writer. He's a tremendously insightful person. He's broken a lot of big stories.
Yeah. So you're at home one night and you're going through Epstein emails and you find one? Is that
Well,
what happened?
somebody sent it to me. I haven't spent any time going through Epstein's emails. I'm busy trying to exonerate Jerry Sandusky, a
Right.
man who's in prison. Epstein's either dead or he's somewhere, but I don't think he's innocent. Yeah, this is Cipriano's fine story.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, Epstein did something that was way ahead of his time. He realized that Jerry Sandusky got railroaded. And you know, when you think about it, a man who is a pedophile, as Sandusky is not, Jeffrey Epstein, he would know if someone was a pedophile or not, probably, and he perceived that Jerry was railroaded. He didn't get a fair trial.
Right. He's in that world. He was in that world. That's obviously. He would know. You would think he would know one when he saw one.
Yeah,
considering he is one. He was one.
He was one, and he said, you know, wait a minute. This is back in 2012. In between, just right after Jerry was convicted and sentenced, Epstein wrote an email to his former prosecutor. He got a sweetheart deal once some years back. And in between his sweetheart deal and his final incarceration, he wrote, wait a minute, you ought to read the transcripts. I bet you haven't. I bet you most of the people that say Sandusky's guilty have never read the transcripts. Read those transcripts and you'll find something that will surprise you. This man's likely got anything but a fair trial.
Yeah. I mean, Epstein said referred to his emails that he didn't get a fair trial. That Sandusky didn't get a fair trial, right?
Correct. He did not get a
Yeah,
fair.
it's hard to believe without any facts. Anybody to believe what came out at that trial. At that trial. Ridiculous.
So here's a man who had a reason to be interested. He was prosecuted himself. He got out by the skin of his teeth at that time. And then he's looking at Sandusky, studying it like very few people would. And he'd say, wait a minute. There was no due process. It was rushed to trial. It was repressed, recovered memory therapy that created memories. It was inconsistent testimony. He picked up everything that we have later developed. And I credit him for one thing. He picked it up early. He got it ahead of even the legendary John Sickler.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. Have you uncovered anything else from Epstein?
Not from Epstein, no, but we're daily uncovering new evidence that has never been brought before the judiciary of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania that further points to what, John, you and I know. But I'd like to ask Jake a question if I could.
Yeah, sure. Let me.
Fire away, Frank.
Jake, do you have any impression about the Sandusky matter? I'm just curious. You're an investigator. You used to use your mind, I think, when you were a younger person, but I don't think you're too old for me to ask you this.
That's coming back because of your friend Ralph. I came at your friend Ralph. You had to get me back. But no, I have. And like most of us, when this first came out, I was a homicide investigator at that time in 2011. And like everyone else, and I thought I knew how to do an investigation. I thought everything was going, knew what I was. And I thought like everyone else, Sandusky was guilty. Based on everything that was coming at us, Sandusky was guilty and a deplorable human being. because one of the things I could never do in my career, I actually refrained from doing it intentionally, even though I was asked to go a few times, was to work in the Special Victims Unit. And I could not personally, the reason I couldn't, because I know my mindset couldn't handle the child victim part of law enforcement. I probably would have lost my job. I probably would have snapped, because one of the mayor's chief of staff right before that had molested his 6-year-old daughter. It wasn't even my case, and biological daughter. And I was in juvenile court at 1801 Vine, and I almost demolished him because I saw a little girl, 6 years old, come out with pictures. I know my mindset. So getting back to Sandusky and your question, Frank, is based on what, speaking with John, Ralph, and yourself, but mainly Ralph, because I admire Ralph tremendously, and Ralph got me to John. And Ralph is a very thorough investigative reporter. And based on the information that he's uncovered, and speaking to other people, and even talking to the president of Penn State a couple of weeks ago, this is a travesty of justice. And I think, honestly, there needs to be an act of Congress, because I would have never been able to get this investigation to a courtroom. Based on what you guys are telling me, there's not a single assistant district attorney, magistrate, common pleas court judge, or even an MC judge that would have signed off on any of my warrants based on the nonsense that we now see. So as an investigator, no. But I got to ask you a question before I get off my soapbox, Frank. Speaking of Ralph and yourself, and, you know, Ralph with the priest and everything else, and down the Sandusky stuff, and all this, the things that Ralph uncovers and authors, do you think he, and his over 50 years in journalism, with you being a journalist, why wouldn't he be considered for a Pulitzer Prize? Because his stories are really national stories. These are stories that affected our nation, and Ralph seems to come up with them prior to any other journalist in this country.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I can answer that question. Why isn't he get an Academy Award, Grammy? And the reason is these are very political, bought and paid for kind of clubs. So he wouldn't qualify no matter what he wrote. If he was to discover a cure for cancer, he wouldn't get an award because he's not part of the club. Independent journalist. And there's no space in the Pulitzer world for an independent journalist.
Yes. Did I answer your question, Frank, that, you know, I would have conducted a more thorough investigation? And if I would have, we probably would have had this information out in 2011 or 12.
Well, here's a question for you, Jake. You investigated, you put people in jail. Did you ever approach a case and say, I wonder if this guy is innocent? And if you found he was innocent, even though you spent a lot of time on it, you said, hey, this guy is innocent? Or were all your investigations, did they all lead to?
Well, I can answer it this way. I've had a lot of them are domestic in nature, but I've had a lot of cases where people were accused and all of the facts at the time was such that that person was their probable cause to affect that arrest. And I locked them up. But that didn't stop my investigation. Like a lot of them, people accuse people of robberies or assaults and things of that nature. And some of those investigations led to me locking up the original victim for 4906 and 4904, which is false reports in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. That's the codes.
Nice.
False swearing to law enforcement. So I have locked up victims. For me, myself, authoring arrest warrants and search warrants to lock up people who were innocent. I got those people out, and I locked up the person who put them in. One case involved a police officer. So I told John a long time ago, I don't deal with the right is wrong is wrong. So if they would have came to me and said Jerry was guilty of all these crimes that he would have alleged to have committed, I would have been pissed. I would not have looked at Jerry in a good light, but I would have conducted my investigation. And if at the end of that investigation would have exonerated Jerry like John did, not only would I have exonerated Jerry, but I would also put some of these people in, like the people who manage $22 million funds.
Yeah, like the CEO of U.S. Steels.
Nice.
You have your pickings of people that you want to pursue if you're in that avenue. You know, if your scope isn't focused, you could do a deal on those people. I don't think they realize that.
Well, when you bring up Cipriano, and one of the things that changed based on Ralph's reporting with the Catholic Church stuff is they changed the statute of limitations regarding, sexual abuses, rapes and things of that nature. It used to be a certain amount of time. Now they give you an age. And I wonder, and I asked Dr. Spanier this, would he consider criminal prosecution of these people? Because the statute of limitations has not run out with this big time conspiracy that we have going on. And this man been in jail for 14 years as a result of it for a crime that he didn't commit, all for monies and political powers or whatever the reasons is. I don't know all of it. Why can't we still continue that criminal investigation?
I think it's a good idea. I don't know that.
I mean, the actions of the Board of Trustees should be under review. It was already under review, and they were already determined to be hosed up. I mean, follow through on that.
Some of the things that Frank discussed, John, I mean, we know most of your investigation is classified, which I don't understand why it still should be classified, but I guess people have their reasons, especially with security clearances and things of that nature. But why didn't they do something then? Your investigation was in the moment.
Because the university was trying to get rid of it. Get it off their desk as quickly as possible. They want to get that move on as quickly as possible.
Do you think, Frank, that they expected Sandusky Jerry to be dead by now and this matter be swept underneath the rug? Obviously, they didn't expect a Frank Parlato or Ralph Cipriano to be on the scene 14 years later.
Well, I think there's more than a few wished he were dead, and that this would go away. Now McGettigan, the one of the criminal prosecutors, one of the real criminals in this case, he just died, I think, December 31st. He went on to his final reward, which year that he moved to a much warmer climate.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Tennessee?
Tina is looking at the same thing. Have you heard anything from them, from that camp anyway? Have they reached out to you at all?
No, they just called me a man who arrived too late for truth, as if truth has a clock on it that only allows for quick talk instead of patient research. And truth is always late for them when it points to their dishonesty.
Yeah. Jeez, man.
Frank, what about the monies and the management? It seems like that's some sort of, I don't know if you want to call it fraud. I don't know what you call it right now. But when you was on the prosecution side, and now you're managing tens of millions of dollars for an alleged victim, how is that not some sort of conflict, fraud, or something? Why is that not being looked into?
I think it should be looked into. I think it will be before it's done. I would not be at all surprised if an arrest is made, and that arrest may be one of the prosecutors, maybe more than one. Prosecution all depends on political will. There was a political will to bury Jerry Sandusky, to sacrifice a man for the sake of football. And there may be a will to prosecute corrupt prosecutors one day. That day may be coming soon.
Yeah, it's a matter of mindset. Mindset for
One of my
prosecution.
I'm sorry.
Our host, distinguished senior citizen with a white beard. Sir, may I get your impressions? You're here for a reason. Do you know John Snedden?
I do. Yeah. John was a mentor of mine. So in 2011, I was an SSA down in Washington, D.C. at our Washington field office. So I was buried, and the only information I got about the case was what I saw on television. And I think I mentioned that last time you were on the show. But since then, and since I've become involved in search warrant here, I've read through some court documents and some of your writings, some of Ralph Cipriano's writings, and I will say that the last writing that you did, where you systematically go down through, I believe it was 10. Was there a total of 14 alleged victims in this case, or was it 12?
The number is shifted depending on whether you count phantom victims, that is, people they've never identified, but have only identified through hearsay. But it boils.
You went down through 10 in your article, your last article. You went down through 10, and to include the suppressed memory evidence that was provided. And the hotel meeting with the absence of the defense attorney was very, very troubling when I read that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So there's just a lot of things that I don't think people know about that you're addressing in your article, and that really needs to be as widely disseminated as possible. Because even like when I go home to Pennsylvania and I talk to people about the case, their impression, the only thing that they remember about the case is the assistant coach who alleged the shower scene. And then when I tell them that never happened, and that the local news media and the international or the national news media never went back and retracted any of that, they're kind of blown away about it. So all that together, and it just seems like legally nobody wants to take it up in the state level and the federal level, and for whatever reason, the media doesn't want to pick it up and put the light on it.
Well, the problem is that you've got politicians now that are in positions such as Shapiro, right, Jake, that are connected to that now. Now they've connected to themselves. They could have done it where they were not connected and could have done something about it. But instead, they connected themselves and did something that was reverse of what they should have done.
Well, you know what I say, and when we start dealing with the Krasner stuff, I jump onto Congress. We need an act to get rid of prosecutorial and judicial immunity, because so much corruption it's a petri dish of corruption there, because they have no accountability. And I say that with the Krasner thing, but when you go back and look, Sandusky was probably the first part of. You had Greg just mentioned the hotel room. You had judicial and prosecutorial misconduct right there. And they will say that nothing can be done about that because they're entitled to absolute immunity. And that's why I've been on this soapbox for all these years saying that has to go away. It's not in the Constitution. It's not in the Bill of Rights. So how is it that the lawyers can make these doctrines to protect the lawyers? Because that's how they're able to get away with their Sandusky stuff. And John, you just brought up Josh Shapiro. He's governor now, could be president or vice president. They don't have the appetite And that's why I brought up to Frank earlier. I think they're just waiting for Sandusky to go away. Maybe Frank goes away. Greg just brought up the media not having an appetite for it. Also, Ralph goes away, Frank goes away, Sandusky goes away. All the people you just talked about are in power. It's all over, and we keep going on. People keep spewing nonsense.
Well, Shapiro, when he went after Spanier again, that wasn't a good look for him. For people that know what the truth is, what actually the truth is. And he's doing that because he's friends with Tom Corbett and Mike Fisher, former attorney generals of Pennsylvania. I mean, if you saw who was on Spanier's Third Circuit, I think we talked about it a little bit last time or when we had Spanier on before. But his Third Circuit panel included Mike Fisher, who is a friend of Tom Corbett, the governor who screwed Spanier, who tried to screw Penn State in opposition to Lebanon Valley College, where he's a graduate. I mean, come on. All right, you got those three together? Why is that?
It's one thing that I heard during COVID and during some other stuff in the voting thing called standing. And, people lack standing in this court process. And Dr. Spanier seems to be one of the few people besides Jerry that they can't get around that standing word. And unfortunately, he even said he doesn't want people to go to jail, but people have to go to jail. This stuff can't continue to go on because it could be Frank. Frank could have a target on his back. Ralph could have a target on their back because they tried to expose this. These people in power make examples out of people.
And it's not costing them anything. I mean, it cost them more than $1 million to prosecute a misdemeanor against a university president that wasn't guilty of that. I mean, that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Who does that? Unless you're exercising a vendetta. Yeah, that's the only explanation for spending that much money to even have a moral compass and do that is indicative of a vendetta.
It's funny you bring up the word moral compass. And Greg says when he goes back home to Pennsylvania, he tells them the shower scene never happened in this movie. Who is so demented, if that's the word I want to use here, to even make up the fact that Jerry was molesting a little boy in the shower to even get this thing started? How crazy you have to be to make up something like that to go after somebody for whatever reason?
Well, Bill, if we can bring up that article again that Frank Parlato and Ralph Cipriano put together. If you look on Substack, on Ralph Cipriano's Substack, Epstein believed Sandusky got railroaded. I mean, it explains it. You guys do, Frank and Ralph, do an excellent job of explaining what the hell they were trying to do there. And I think that the only explanation you can come up with is was it a vendetta? Yes, of course it was a vendetta. It was a vendetta by the governor. And people followed through on that. What governor has a Greg and Jake? I mean, if you have a sex case, you usually, as NCIS agents, we go to a child sex abuse case, sex abuse training to investigate that crime. And it doesn't take you 2 or 3 days. I mean, you're talking about weeks. And you want to be good at that. You got to do, and you want to be good at everything, obviously, because your moral compass tells you want to be good at everything. You're going to stick it out for that training. they had narcotics agents working child sex abuse cases. I mean, how do you justify that? Do you justify that by saying that's the only person you had? Or is that the only attorney general office that would do what you would say?
Well, John, as you very well know, and Greg, those are specialized skills when you deal in that realm. I mean, I did narcotics. You don't use me to go be the eyes on a narcotics transaction to deal with sexual abuse of a minor. It was intentional. And the fact that those it's this whole thing that really smells to high heaven. These narcotics officers, they know that they don't have the expertise to deal with that. Why did they even get involved in it? This is ridiculous. I mean,
you take a attorney general's office in a different division in the Narcotics Bureau that's out in Altoona and put him on a child sex abuse case in State College. What?
It makes no sense.
No. And then he ends up working for, I think they had state police on it that probably didn't have the training. I doubt if there were very many people that had training at all that investigated the case. And then, trying to justify what you're doing is just crazy. Yeah. Without saying, hey, look, this was a vendetta.
Well, we're talking about it now, like on a daily basis, in the news, in our homes and everything. But in 2011, when one of the things I was listening to you about was that when the news came out with it, and they talked about the shower thing, about, I would say, 75% of men in the country go, ooh, F that guy, he's guilty. Right there. I mean, done. We don't want to know any more about it. We don't want to know any details. He's guilty. He needs to go to jail. Done. And so that's a pretty big deal. You and I have walked in the commanding officers' offices with cases on sailors and Marines, and we said, hey, we got this case of a person in your command, and it involves, it's a child sex abuse case. And immediately they're like, that guy he's got to go to the brig. Enough said. We're done here. They don't want to know the details, So this is a case, it's a psychological thing. Back in the day, nobody wanted to talk about this stuff. Nobody wants any details. As soon as you say somebody's a pedophile, they need to go to jail for a very long time. Or, as one of my representatives here said, he needs to be hung. Enough said. Hang 'em high. So, the justice system, it works sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't seem to work. And this case, from what I've read and the documents I've read, both, again, legal and people who were witnesses of this event, is just bizarre, totally bizarre, to the fact that you're bringing up that you had investigators who weren't trained to do this. The suppressed memory, that just baffles me. I was the first time I'd ever heard of it. I'd never heard of somebody being suppressed memory evidence. That doesn't even seem to. It doesn't even in my head. I can't. That's not prima facie evidence for sure. So
we should try to find out how many times repressed memory has been utilized with vendettas.
Who was the person? I forget his name. Who said the shower scene? What was that person's name?
Mike McQuarrie.
That was McQuarrie, right? How many times was he interviewed initially? If you can tell me, John, I don't know how much is classified, how much is.
Well, he was. I can tell you how that went. He was interviewed until they told him what they wanted to hear.
So there's a paper trail of multiple stories.
Yes. They talked to him until he told them what they wanted to hear that was in line with Corbett's vendetta. If you can't figure that out, people, you're way beyond the 8 ball.
And we've never had access to those 3, 4, 5. I don't know how many interviews. I know I would have at least talked to him 2-3 times if his story changed. And I would have never went to a magistrate or ADA to get a warrant based on his conflicting accounts. So
Well, the guy is 6'5", 200 and some
30
pounds,
pounds, right? Mhm.
being chased by 350-pound guys, and he sees that happen allegedly sees that happen in a athletic shower stall, and doesn't do anything but leave.
Well, it goes to what Greg said, and I think the number is low. I think that's a conservative number, 75%. I think probably like 98%. So you have this guy going in and watching that act being taken, and he didn't go ooh, he didn't go smack that older gentleman who was doing that to that kid. I would have dragged him out of there naked if that was the case.
Yeah.
That was Mike's big mistake. When he told the lie initially, he thought he'd get hero and whistleblower status. But then everybody had the exact opposite reaction. They had the reaction that John just related, is how you were 28 years old, you're 6'5", 240-pound athlete, and you saw a 57-year-old man raping a 10-year-old boy, and you just ran away.
Yeah.
And he didn't. His lie only went, like so many people who lie, half the distance of the effect. And then he changed the story some 5 additional times until nobody knew what to believe, except the jury willing to believe everything, but even they couldn't believe McQuarrie, and they acquitted Jerry on the very charge that made him famous and made everybody believe he was guilty.
But it lended some credibility to what they were allegedly pushing.
It was
That's
thing.
Part of it. So the bottom line is, I know you have only have 40 minutes, Ralph, or Frank. Sorry.
Call me Ralph. That's a compliment.
But with you guys together, we're much better off than what we had. And we look forward to seeing what you both come out with. Yeah, right now we've got Epstein with emails saying that he feels that Sandusky was railroaded, which lends credibility to the facts in the case, as opposed to, made up things.
I'd like to say that in Epstein's case, it takes one not to know one. He was a pedophile, and he said, Sandusky isn't, or he didn't think he was. That's interesting, and it's telling. It's not dispositive, but it's more than theory.
Yeah. Well, we'll be watching for articles that you guys come out with. I know you're trying to get Jerry out of jail as much as possible, as an innocent man should be, considering the facts don't line up with the prosecution, and the prosecutors were managing the money. What do you think about that, by the way, audience? What do you think about the prosecutors managing the money that the victims received?
Yeah. Frank, real quick before you go, does all of this die with Jerry and Dottie, because they don't have any children? Who's to pursue this? I don't want to be morbid, but who's to pursue this if
Well, they have adopted children, right?
Yeah.
They have adopted children, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're coming to a head now, Jake. This will decide in a matter of months. This isn't going to linger anymore. We are reaching Armageddon for the judicial branch of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Their shame will be exposed, their dishonesty will be revealed, or they may decide to become a judiciary that is based on integrity. That could happen. I'd be surprised. But either way, Jerry's day is coming, and the truth is going to come out now. We're very close. I'll make an announcement on John Snedden's show here that hasn't been announced before.
Oh, great. We look forward to that.
There is a 9-episode major television production, which I am a co-producer of, that's coming out. It includes one of the top executives of Google and a very experienced seasoned producer of many shows, which is coming out on the Sandusky case, which is going to show the 1,001 lies that got Jerry convicted. It's going to be a big budgeted production. John, you will be asked to appear in it. And it's going to be big, and that's coming in. It's in pre-production now. It will be airing by the end of this year.
Whoa,
Wow.
that is big news.
Wow, that is big news.
First on this show.
Yes, thank you very much, Frank. Appreciate that.
A production meeting right now. That's why I couldn't linger on and stay here as much as I'd like to. But I want to thank you guys for having me and your insightful comments.
Well,
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
We're if anything comes up, we'd be more than happy to hear about it and publicize it.
You're my go-to place. So thank you very much, John. Thanks, Jake. Everybody.
Thank you, Frank.
Thanks.
Thank you, Frank.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Frank.
Hey,
That was big news.
Go ahead.
I said that was big news right there.
Yeah, no kidding. Wow, shocking. We were going to have a legendary dog handler on today. Unfortunately, he had an accident. He lives in Las Vegas, and he had an accident where he was in a repel intruders exercise and had an accident. Not super serious, but it resulted in a cath or heart thing. Do you know what I'm talking about? Cath, CATH,
Catheter?
Well, I know, but it's for your heart.
I don't want one of those.
A valve, a heart valve.
Yeah, it might be it.
Okay.
But anyway, I wanted to show some pictures of him. He's been all over the world, and he was one of the first guys that I met and befriended when I was thrust into a law enforcement role. And his dogs did what he told them to do, all the way from Thailand to Gitmo Bay.
Ooh.
So these are some pictures of him. It's Fred Furrow, legendary dog handler. And I'm sure we'll have more when he can appear, because I want to talk to him about Chloe and the Karen Reed case. I mean, did Chloe kill him? Did the German Shepherd kill him? And here's a bonus. This is when I was dropped into hand fighting, street fighting every day with Marines and sailors in a foreign country under martial law.
Oh, wow.
Lucky I survived.
Nice ride.
That reminds me of Loretta. Well, I think her name was Loretta Swift.
How many Azuzus I screwed up? I don't know. I have no idea. Anyway.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so let's get rid of this. Let's see if we can get rid of that. Bill, can we get rid of that picture? Okay. Yeah, so I survived that.
The other picture was better.
Yeah. Years of street fighting when you least expected. Every day, street fighting with Marines and sailors. for about 6 hours.
Over the three females that was, like, was that
Keep
thing
saying
musical
shit.
chairs?
No, it was one fight after the other. And those Marines won't give up either.
Kept the
Greg
blade
well-
sharp.
Greg well knows. So our special guests also are Glenn Fogerty and Marcus Williams. Glenn being the CEO,
Hey, go ahead,
and
Marcus.
Marcus Williams being interpreter. So how you guys been
Where the
doing?
hell are you sitting, Marcus?
Hey guys, how's it going? You like my new studio background?
Yeah, really. Look at that. It's better than Greg's, walk off into the clouds.
You don't have a piano though, Marcus.
I do not have a piano. I do not. So this is the set for my Elephant in the Room podcast, which I'm bringing back at the end of this month. So that's going to be fantastic.
All that's missing is Satchmo, with his trumpet.
I know, right? With some nice smooth jazz in the back,
Little cigar.
So let's ask Glenn, have there been an acquisition of any additional trophies since last week?
Oh, yes, there is. I got it just for you, John. I got the trophy
What is that,
just
a
for
bomb?
you.
Oh,
Oh, man.
are you blowing smoke up somebody's ass?
No, I'm just exciting Joe Shitty.
But you said the dog handler wasn't coming on.
Is that an F-stick?
Yeah,
Yeah, F-stick.
it's Joe Biden's. It's your F stick in there.
That's you. That's your F-stick that you won drag racing.
Marcus, you missed out on that last week.
I missed it. I would have loved to be there. I had other prior obligations. I'm so hurt.
Yeah, you should be hurt, man. Greg, he cracked a good one there. He screwed up and called it, instead of calling it Epstein, he called it Ep-stick. And now there we go. I got the Ep-stick just for you.
It's the
And a
F-stick
trophy for
award.
John. Here you go, John.
Oh, he's got a mask on too. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
he's
Oh,
got
that's
the
Joe
mask and
Biden.
everything. Shit,
that
the
Joe?
Ep-stick just
Oh,
fell
that's
out. I
cool.
had to go pick it up.
So Marcus,
Smiling Joe
you're
Biden.
trying to- Marcus, if I understand correctly from what you're putting out, it's basically changing the Republican Party to one that actually works.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do we get there?
So we've got a couple of very serious issues in the Republican Party right now. One of the biggest issues is that we've got a move that's taking us more and more to the left. I like to call it the Republican light, like LTE, like Diet Coke Republicans. So that's what we're dealing with right now. And we're seeing these people who are sometimes, maybe they've got a little teeny bit of conservatism in them and they want maybe less fiscal restrictions or something like that. But very much so in a lot of social aspects, they're more socially liberal and stuff like that. But more so, they align with a Democrat that might have some conservative values than a Republican platform or conservatism at all. And that's a serious issue, but that's our fault as a party. What we've done is we've gotten away from values and principles and standing on business. If you look at us on a national scale and even on a statewide scale where I am in New York State, there are many Republicans that are like, we don't see the party standing for our traditional values, standing for our conservative values, and they're willing to moderate their message and go softer or be just like a alternative Democrat Party in order to get perceived votes. And now those perceived votes will never come because the Democrats aren't going to vote Republican. That's just not happening. That's not a realistic expectation, because the Democrats that do vote, those are hardcore Democrats. It's the Democrats that don't vote and the independents that we might be able to get over. But if we're just changing our message to be like, well, we're not hardcore Republicans, but we're kind of like the Democrats, that's going to lose us a very large of our base. And not only that, it's also going to lose us the potential to get these young people that are now seeing conservatism as a way forward, as an alternative to this left-wing orthodoxy, as an alternative to this left-wing homogeny that is trying to be forced upon every aspect of America. And the only way to do that is we have to stand on conservative principles and conservative values. Once again, we used to be there, and then now all of a sudden we're like, okay, well, we're okay with this a little bit, we're okay with that a little bit, and then that doesn't stop. There's no negotiating with the enemy. That's the problem. Malcolm X made a very good quote one time, and he said, "Don't let your enemies educate your children." I'm paraphrasing. But it's only a fool lets the enemy educate their children. And that's what we also have. So we've got the people that are indoctrinating the children. We see all of these walkouts on all these different middle school and high school campuses, and they don't even know what's going on that they're protesting. You listen to them talk about it, they can't articulate what's going on. They've got a...
What is happening, Marcus? I saw where the High School of the Arts was protesting. Ridiculous.
So, yeah. So this is what you've got, because they're like, I just want to get out of class. I've been told that things are being done that are not nice, but okay, things are being done that you think are not nice. Why are they done? Why is it necessary for them to be done? These are the conversations that aren't being had. We don't have any influence in that arena, because over decades and generations, over the last 100 years, the left has taken over, specifically the socialist and communist wing has taken over the educational institutions. They're protesting. One girl was out there and she said, oh, well, I don't think that it's right for them to be deporting people because of their race. Well, they're not deporting people because of their race. It's about nationality. So this is a very, very important thing. It's about nationality and immigration status. It's got nothing to do with
the kids
race.
are not told the actuality of the situation.
Exactly.
Who is it?
The word
Who are the two guys
means.
who were the two guys that were getting the kids out on the street? Do you know? I saw that video.
I'm not even sure. I saw that. I didn't get to figure out who that was. But there
were kids for people that didn't see the video. There's what's the name of it? High School of the Arts.
The School of the Arts. Yep. Mm-hmm.
School of the Arts. It's a high school in Rochester, and they had kids lined up outside, and two adults with the kids, and the news reporters interviewing the kids, and the adults were asking the kids who wanted to talk, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then they came up with that kind of thing, nationality, as opposed to, or whatever they were told instead of the real reason, which was infuriating to begin with.
Yep.
I mean, because they're locked in an environment where they're not going to get the truth.
That's right. And that's our fault, because we have a message articulation problem. We're not standing on constitutional values. We're not standing on the principles of small government. We see people, we've got a very small number of national Republicans that are willing to actually stand on virtue and principle. It's kind of wavering. So until we can articulate our message as being conservative values, as being conservative principles, and sticking to them, nothing's going to happen. I'll give you an example. And this isn't me casting dispersions or anything. This is just the reality of real nature. We just had this gentleman who's running for the Republican line on the ticket, and he's got the conservative line on the ticket, Bruce Blakeman. Okay. There were two conservative county chairs and their various committees. Cayuga, and I believe the other one was what's the other one? I want to say Onondaga, but I don't think it was that one. I believe it was Cayuga and another one. But regardless, they said that they did not nominate him because he's not pro-life. Now, for generations and pretty much all of the history of the Republican Party, we have been a pro-life party.
Right.
Back a couple years ago, we took pro-life out of our national policies. So what we're doing is we're shifting little by little to the left. And what do they say? If you're not built on a solid foundation, it'll collapse. You know, you're building on shifting sands. You've got nothing to stand for. If you don't stand on anything, you'll fall for everything, you know, and that's what we have to do. We have to.
Glenn, how do we fix that? Especially in Western New York. How do we fix that?
I mean, as I said last time on the last show, there's multiple things that we have to address. And, you know, from what Marcus is saying, he's not wrong. You just had today Katie Barr from North Carolina running on Congress as a Republican, but she's going around telling people she's a progressive. You know, so you're getting a liberal who's technically, you know, blurting it out. I'm a rhino. Then you have the uneducated kids that are being indoctrinated in the school, where some of what they consider their smartest people to be is that dingbat AOC. And I like to always bring this back when we talk about, you know, civics. Okay. And they asked her, do you think that civics should be taught in school? I'm not kidding you. She says, I think we should teach about more types of cars than just civics. That is the kind of mentality we're dealing with. I'm not kidding you.
Oh my God.
So you have to, and then you have those kids that look up to an idiot like her that, okay, you're right about that, Marcus. If I could get out of class, I'd be like, hell yeah, let's go party.
Right.
You know? So they go outside. The reporters ask them, do you know why you're here? Well, yeah, some bad people, you know, they think some people are bad because of their skin. And then even if you explain it to them, like you did, where if you said it's a nationality issue, they'd be like, what the hell is a nationality?
Right.
Okay. So it's not just the education field. It's the medical field as well. It's even the companies that create the textbooks. And I worked for one years ago doing a little project. They manipulate the words to fit some sort of liberal, agenda, and you know they'll water down this and crank that up, and then you know and so on and so forth. So the kids, by the time they're kicking out of these colleges and schools, they'd be lucky if they broke triple digits on their IQ, in my opinion. You know. So the other thing too, in the final thing here, this needs to be addressed. I was trying to find the article. Able Child, which is an organization that deals a lot with various mental problems and issues. They discovered what's now the key. If you remember about 2 weeks ago, John Kennedy, the senator from Louisiana, he said that the Liberal Party has been taken over by the insane Karens, as he calls it.
That's a good point.
Okay. Yeah, it is. He says it's been totally hijacked by them, and they're bending whatever way possible just to please these insane, uneducated Karens. And then Able Child discovered that most of them are on Xanax. It's the drugs.
Jesus Christ.
It's starting to set them off, you know, because here you've got, you know, let's say you've got the hot mom down the block who's your best friend's mom, and, you know, you got the hots for her, and she seems like she'll bake you cookies and she's all nice, but then something comes on the news and they mention the word Donald Trump. Her hair will light on fire. Her skin will boil red, you know, and then steam will come out of her ears like a cartoon. And she'll jump in the car and go drive and crash into like ICE agents or claim BLM or I don't know what else. Oh, Gaza for everyone.
So Marcus, what's the argument against ICE here? ICE in Western New York.
So there is no real argument against ICE. It's just they want to say, oh, ICE bad. And they don't even fully understand the economic implications of all this extra burden on our already strapped social services. And in an economy where everyday people's expenses keep going up, it's hard to find a job. We got people working 2-3 jobs to barely make ends meet. You submit 100 applications. This isn't a joke. You submit 100 applications. You're lucky to get 2-3 phone calls back, even if you're qualified or even overqualified. So there's a lot. There's sorry, go ahead.
Greg, what's the overall argument against ICE in Tennessee that you're hearing?
We don't have an argument against ICE in Tennessee. We have a few cities like Nashville and Memphis that had some issues. There's a town I can't think of right now. I can't think of the name of the town. It sits right outside Nashville, and they got slammed hard because my understanding is that most of the town was just full of illegals. So they came in and that was done pretty quick, pretty fast. So
Jake, how about Mid-Atlantic? Not to give you away.
Well,
What's the greatest?
I think all this crap with ICE is just that BS. To get on Marcus's point, Republican Party being pro-life. Now we got to say we're pro-choice. You got to say we're pro-crime, or the Republican Party. You just said about the messenger. They don't. Pull down your mask. I can't pull down my mask because y'all going to dox me, and I got to worry about my child going to school. It has nothing to do with you, but they tell you, oh, you're a Gestapo, you're a Nazi, and then all these Republicans. Because to your point, Glenn, we're worrying about the white liberal Karen with the hair on fire, but I believe what Marx is saying, it has nothing to do with that. It's the Republican Party. I watched how Mydlarz, to bring it to New York, went after George Santos with venom. But now you got Tlaib, Presley, Omar, AOC, and all of them, and others, it's probably the whole Congress, to be honest with you, all accused of fraud, and you hear crickets from these people. So ICE, that's the DHS. We want to take away DHS funding. No, that funding is already there, first of all. And secondly, because you get Good and Pretty killed, now that's a big issue. They got to be taken up in 2 weeks. They keep showing you the smoking, the BS. They show you the catnip. And that's how they get you, Marcus, where you don't listen to Malcolm X and some of the quotes that he's made. Because you know what they'll say? If you make a quote from Malcolm X, they say, oh, it's Malcolm X. He's just this, that. So you don't supposed to hear what he's saying. Just like you don't supposed to hear what the Republicans
It's
are
a
saying.
distraction.
It's a distraction.
Let's
It's all
have a flavor
nonsense.
of the moment outrage. We're all done now with George Floyd. All right. He's dead. He's now ashes. Even God blasted his mural with lightning, off the face of the earth. And now that don't work for them anymore. They moved on to something else. Gaza. Now
Epstein.
we're at ICE is doing this. So now it's just a distraction so that you can't talk about the real issue to bring to people's attention and then have their brains start thinking, oh, well, maybe you're right, because they don't want that.
Because you know why we're starving? Because all the money that's alleged to be going to all these programs in the community is getting sucked into the Presleys, Tlaibs, Omars, AOCs, and so on and so forth. And if you're not stealing it through the NGOs and the nonprofits, you're getting stock trades and doing illegal stock trades. So they're all in this whole thing. And Glenn,
Isn't Nancy Pelosi the Wizard of Wall Street now?
Yeah.
She's doing better than what's his face down in Nebraska, with his fund. The richest
but
guy.
you get a Republican. What's the Republican they just got on? You just had the Republican on it too.
Did you guys hear about a daytime robbery?
There's always a daytime robbery somewhere.
Let's
every time the Capitol opens.
Let's look at this daytime robbery. Tell me what you think. Thank you, Greg, for bringing this to our attention.
Guarda, stanno rubando il furgone, guarda. Guarda. Guarda, hanno rubato il furgone. Guarda. Cristo santo. Hanno fatto scappiare Scoppiare in diretta, guardali, 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 guardali. Guardali, guardali. Guardali.
Regardez, regardez.
Guarda, guarda.
In broad daylight on a busy road, it was like a real-life version of the Italian Job, as the doors of this armoured truck were blown off. Thieves used fake police cars and guns as they tried to unsuccessfully rob a van in Italy's Puglia region.
How is this possible? They're all fake police.
Tutti poliziotti finti.
Immediately pursued by the actual police, the robbers set fire to the surrounding vehicles to block their path. Those in the van were left unscathed.
They are alive. It's a miracle.
Police unions describe the attack as a war scene.
They displayed unprecedented criminal violence. They showed no fear of danger, to the point that they did not hesitate to open fire on one of our rifle patrols, which fortunately did not result in any casualties among my colleagues.
2 of the perpetrators were arrested a few hours later, while the others are still on the run. In light of Monday's attack, the Italian government praised the bravery and composure of the police. There were no casualties.
No casualty. Let's see what these other videos.
At least there was no casualties.
Hang
They didn't
on.
get the money either.
Oh.
And there was a assassination, right?
Right.
Right, of a Russian.
Oh, I saw
Russian
that.
GRU general in Moscow.
Yeah,
Did
so
he
let's,
died, huh, Greg?
He did die, yep.
let's take a
So-
look at
That
this.
like the third one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've been taking them out back and forth.
Yeah.
Let's watch the video. You got the video?
Yeah, we have 2. When you're coming off a plane with a bunch of guys with masks, there's a problem.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
You know, they handle them the right way, though. They put their head straight down like they did down in Central America when they were taking them all to that Supermax prison for illegal aliens and gangmen.
Mhm.
They're all like squatting with their heads being pushed like this. That's the way to handle them.
So this gentleman right here is a Lieutenant General Vladimir Alexeyev, who is the Deputy Chief of Russia's main Directorate of General Staff, or their military intelligence. And apparently he was shot multiple times in Moscow on the 6th of February of 2026 and is currently hospitalized in serious or critical condition. Allegedly, this attack occurred in a stairwell or entrance of a residential building in northwest Moscow. An unidentified assailant fired several shots. Reports mention shots to the back or vital areas, and then fled the scene. Now, Russia's investigative committees opened a criminal case into the attempted murder, and investigators are reviewing CCTV footage and interviewing witnesses. Now, the lieutenant general is 64 years old and is a career officer who notably helped negotiate with Wagner Group leader Yevgeny Prigozhin during his short-lived mutiny in June of 2023. It seems that this story continues to get deeper.
He was Spetsnaz.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I'll tell you who wasn't in under a mask.
I'll say it loud enough for all those.
He's not a.
Wait, John, let me start doing it. Hold on.
I'll say it loud enough for all those in the back.
Freak. What
You know what the
You know,
crazy
the irony
thing
of
is?
that,
Yeah,
the irony
so
of that Russian guy is that he was the head of their intelligence thing, and he ended up getting whacked. He didn't have any intel on them coming to kill him.
You know the craziest thing? This isn't each time we get very close to peace negotiation finalization, Ukraine goes and tries to kill a general or kill one of their head officers, like the time that they almost came to a resolution and then they blew up that general's daughter trying to kill him.
Right.
Like, they don't want peace. They want
they
war
don't.
Always. Do you have that clip? I wish you did. I don't want
I'll
peace.
tell you why he don't
All
want
problems
peace.
always.
Zelensky is a piece of dog shit Nazi. Fuck his
He
ass.
is.
Okay?
This is true, though.
but that's the truth. And the reason is his puppet master, because Zelensky is a puppet, is Barry Stupid. Okay, because Barry put in 52 biolabs in Ukraine right along the border with Russia, and he was getting paid tons and tons of money for that. If he has to withdraw that territory, Russia would gain those labs or destroy them, and Barry wouldn't get, Zelensky wouldn't get paid and would have to pay back the money to Barry. And if that don't happen, he's going to get assassinated. So he wants that war to go on.
Oh yeah, he's dead when it's over. He won't last long.
Right.
So the assassination investigators are reviewing video. Greg, is that right?
No, they already got the trigger puller. His name was Korba. He's the guy that you saw being taken off of the plane, and they got him in Dubai, UAE. And then they got two other ones from the Moscow Times reported that they got two accomplices, a father and a son team. So the FSB, the Russian FSB's, their version of like the FBI, they're saying that this was done by the Ukrainian intelligence, accompanied by some NATO members because of the support that came from Poland and things like that. So they're making the argument that this was NATO assisted. And so on the flip side of that, you have Ukrainian intelligence pushing back, saying that, well, this is a close friend and relation of Prigozhin, who was the CEO of PMC Wagner. And so this is Putin leveling the score for something else. So you kind of got this pushback. But right now, 3 individuals are in custody, to include the shooter.
So the assassination attempts that we've had make us no better than they are.
Say that one more time.
The assassination attempts that we've had against our presidential candidates doesn't make us any better than they are.
Oh, they're very much better at it. They're very good at it.
Okay.
You remember I have a little chart that I was keeping track called the Boogeyman, where all these multi-million Russian oligarchs, they call them, that are millionaires, are getting whacked all over the world. To include, we had one that allegedly is suspected to happen in D.C. Here a couple of years ago. They're very good at it, and he's and Putin, whether you believe it's Putin pulling the strings or not, Putin has had some of his competitors terminated, like through the use of uranium poison.
No, polonium.
Polonium, yes. Thank you.
Polonium, yeah, I remember that. What was the guy's name? They got him in the UK?
Yeah, they
forgot his name.
Yeah, I forget his name as well.
I think they stuck him with a pen, with the pen tip. It had polonium on it, and injected his bloodstream.
Yeah, and there was another one that they put it in their coffee.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, one of the guys survived, didn't he? One of them they tried to take out, and he survived.
Well, he died eventually. It's the guy.
Yeah, miserable death.
He, I believe, he was a journalist, and he was reporting on the corruption in Russia, and he made his way into the UK, and they believe that his food was poisoned while he was in a restaurant in the UK.
Frank and Ralph, Parlato and Ralph Cipriano will have to get food testers, right, Jake?
I think they already.
You think they already have them?
Yeah, it's called Jake.
Oh, Christ.
On the Italian hit with the armored truck, think the takeaway that I got from that was that they were using the truck was lined with some counter explosive foam. It's kind of new on the market, and that's the reason they weren't able to crack the inner layer of the armored car.
What, the foam explodes when it hits impact?
I didn't get into the details of it. I'll have to look at it more. I worked the area. I worked the area in Bari, and this happened on a highway south of Bari on the Adriatic side. And it is common over there. It was common that you would have people posing as police. You wanted to be very careful being pulled over out in the middle of nowhere and on the highways in Italy, because they would come up and say, "Hey, you were speeding. Go ahead and pay me the fine here." And that was kind of their racket. So
they do that all along Eastern Europe too, all the way into Russia.
Yeah.
You're only safe in like France and Belgium and places like that.
It's hard to believe there were no injuries as a result of that damage to the van.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, something that's very interesting about that job is two questions that I have. First question is, what was really in that van? That's my first question. What was really in that van? Because it seems like that was a really out of the way, high level type of assault to try to take that van. The second thing is, and now I'm just speculating here, if it was a new type of foam that was supposed to be an anti-blasting gel or whatever it is it possible that somebody let out information about that vehicle just so that they can show off their technology and how awesome it is? Just a thought.
That one, that's a long stretch on that second one, but the first
that would be a
question-
good commercial, right?
That would be.
Yeah, the first one is actually kind of interesting, because why would they outfit that van with that material if it's new? And like goes to your point, what's in that van, or what was in that van that need that much protection? Greg knows.
Greg knows everything, man. He's divine. He walks into clouds.
I do have some good faux pas on the show.
You do. Classic moments. We got to do a bloopers episode one day of, things like that.
It was a case of Epstick.
Greg goes to visit God and comes back in 5 minutes.
It was a case of rarely available Epstick.
So,
we
Mark,
got to make that his nickname from now on.
Addressed some of the police appropriation board. Can you tell us what's happening in Western New York in that regard? Are they still pushing for lefties to be on that board?
Yes, the Police Accountability Board is a terrible situation we have going here in this city and in a couple of other ones in Western New York especially. They're basically trying to give this, I want to say, civilian group a oversight of the police. Now, that is outside of the jurisdiction of any civilians. Not that I am against the concept in theory, but that's outside, that there is no mechanism in our government for that. So them pushing that, you see the people that end up on these boards are a whole bunch of people who have traditionally been anti-police and have been pro-crime. So this is turned into a very serious bash the police, hate the police, circle jerk of nonsense. And that's all that we see. And in a time when our agencies are defunded, the police don't feel supported, is this really the optimal way to make sure that we have accountability for public safety officers in our areas? I don't think so. None of them have experience being on a police force. They don't have military experience. They don't have any type of combat training or high, what would you call it? High and intense situational training. So how can they possibly judge the different actions and stuff and promote different things in relation to that if they don't have any realm of that experience? But even if we cut it simple, they're all people that hate the police.
Yeah.
If I hate cheese, you probably shouldn't put me on the board that judges cheese. I'm just saying.
Right.
I do love cheese though.
Well, it's their only way. Maybe it's their only way for them to justify them trying to make directions for the police department.
Yeah.
But they have no experience.
Well, wasn't that what was that point earlier that they said that they put narcotics cops on a sex case?
Yeah.
The same situation. It's like telling a tank driver, here's an F-14, go fly it for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Well, it
speaking
just
of,
seems to me that
sorry, Marcus, I just cut it and it's heading your way now. So can you judge that one?
Well, in that case, it was here. This is what we want you to come up with. Come up with it. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. Just come up with it.
Well, it
We
goes
want
to
this
this point with this Republicans. These Republicans are so weak all over the place where no one's fighting for what's right. I mean, listen, if police do something bad, they do something, you get the board. If it's fair, no problem. It is what it is. But the fact that you have so many of these people, tell me the Republican is coming out nationally with the counter argument, and it should be a press conference after press conference after press conference with this DHS stuff about the ICE. You're threatening to kill my officers. You're threatening to lock my officers up. You're threatening all this stuff. I got to protect them. Everybody else wants protection. You don't. Greg brought up the SAVE Act last week. Why isn't all the Republicans out? You call me dumb. We always, me and Marcus being two blacks on here, the minority, so to speak, you call us dumb to our faces. You too dumb, Marcus. You too dumb, Jake, to get a license or an ID. And no one comes out and says, why are you calling? These people are racist. Why aren't the Republicans come out saying, these people are racist?
Yep,
They're calling black people dumb. They say they can't even go get an ID. But these
that Horowitz guy, he did a video on that in Harlem. Do you remember? Yeah. And then some kid's holding his phone going, what are you talking about? I got my own hotspot going right here.
Exactly. But you don't get the repetitive.
Can't use computers. I remember that one.
Yeah, but the Democrats get to keep that perceived moral high ground with all this nonsense when their argument is full of crap. But the Republicans, for some reason, Marcus, and you brought it up when you first started, why isn't we sitting out here arguing this stuff to the high heavens? And we're not protecting our citizens. We're not protecting our law enforcement. We're not protecting anything. We're not going after the corrupt Omar. 30 million from negative 5,000 to 30 million.
She asked for the president to be executed now or killed. Yeah. Because he exposed all that Somali fraud. So she says, well, you know what? He's all over the Epstein's files. So, in Somalia, they execute pedophiles.
Well, she's banging her brother. I mean, there's a history of inbreeding there. Is that something
that's nasty?
What are we talking about? And then she's all anti-white and her boyfriend's white. Like, what is
exactly?
Well, what are we even doing?
Look at Nadler. Nadler saying you can shoot an ICE agent.
Yes,
none of it makes sense.
They're professional.
Nadler saying you can shoot an ICE agent. They come in your house. You know they're ICE. But you
how about those Karens that shut down the road to check the ID of people coming into their neighborhood to make sure they're not ICE? That's checking our border to make sure you've got an ID.
I guess no blacks live in that neighborhood because they couldn't get an ID to get in. I mean,
fat fucking dumbass Karens, But
now
let me in a prison. They're so fucking ugly.
Let me put this out there to anybody that's listening that considers themselves a Republican or conservative. What we have to do is we have to start building the grassroots organizations, and I'm using my wording very specifically. We need to start building the grassroots organizations that are out there engaging the public. We need to be engaging them on civics. We need to be engaging them on issues like energy issues. We need to be engaging them on every single factor that surrounds what conservative values are. We need to be engaging them on, we need organizations for lowering taxes. We need an organization for taking the chemicals out of the food. We need all of these organizations, because what happens is we've got no ground game in this field. But if you look at the left, they've got an organization for everything. Look at those No King protests. None of them believe the same stuff. They got the socialists with the people talking about save the African tree slug. So, I mean, they've got 45 different groups and we've got none. We've got none. So we have to start building those organizations and tailoring them to the different subjects and aspects that are important to people in the community that we are also passionate about. It doesn't have to be one broad everything. It could be one very ultra specific thing. And we as Republicans and conservatives need to start funding those organizations. We need to start looking to encourage them to get grant funding, how they can get grant funding, to further the cause of conservatism, to further the cause of things that are representative of the conservative and Republican solidic values. That's what we need to go. And that's how we can.
What about fiscal accountability? I mean, you've got
accountability group. There we go.
They want to jam all the services, take their money away. But yet they want to increase the salaries of the council people. 25% in the middle of the night, right?
And we need to make sure that these are localized organizations, people. And I can't emphasize that enough. Everybody's so concerned about what the president is doing and all of that. Nobody cares about that on the ground. Let's be honest. They care about how they're going to put food on their table for themselves or their children. They care about their gas and electric bill going crazy. They care about the stabbing up the street, the drug dealers down the street, the prostitutes on the corner by their houses. They care about the lawns the snow not getting plowed. They care about the leaves not getting picked up. These are the things and the issues that we need to be tackling. And if we're not doing it, we are leaving votes on the table. But more than that, we are leaving our values on the floor.
I think in the basement.
In the bed,
Listen, they got us on the Super Bowl that just passed. You got a halftime show that no one could understand what they're saying. You got two national anthems. All this stuff. We keep allowing it. You keep pushing it and pushing it. No one's saying nothing. You can't say, me and Glenn was on here a few weeks ago. We had a little satire with the word retard. Retard is actually a word. Transgender, that's a made up word. There's no such thing as a transgender. But if you don't say transgender, if you don't say they, them, while speaking about a single person, you got an issue. So, we got to stop with this. I agree, Marcus. Trump can be the face of MAGA, but MAGA is a grassroots. It's a patriot organization.
Yep.
So if he can help you, and then other people in Congress may be able to help you, but you gotta let them know if you get scared because someone tells you to say pro-choice, then 2 years from now you gotta go. If you get scared because you let somebody cut off a little girl's breast or a little boy's penis, you gotta go. And if it happened on your watch, you got to go. There's nothing you can say to me 2 years from now to say you are supporting my causes, or 4 years from now, because you said transgender. My little girl don't have any breasts, and my little boy don't have a penis. Enough with your nonsense.
Hey, Jake, I got to add to that. I went to a mechanic the other day, and I said to him that listen, man, I think I need you to change the tranny fluid on my car. He goes, I'm not gay.
I knew where he was going with that.
Yeah, you knew it. You knew that was coming. Well, listen, as far as that stupid bowl goes, my sister, she goes to this church. She's like the flying nun, but they have this potluck, and I like the people there. So I go over to say hi, but they had turned it into that stupid bowl party, And the whole time I was there, I let everybody know I don't even know who the hell is playing. I refused to even watch 1 minute of that whole bullshit. But I did turn my head for one thing. There was a flyover. And I saw the B1B flyover. That's it.
That was beautiful.
When they played that anthem, I turned not our regular national anthem. I stood up and turned my back and then sat back down just to piss everybody off. But you know what? They all respect me. Nobody said a word. Then when they played our regular national anthem, I didn't look at the TV, but there was a flag in the room in the other direction, and I went and pointed towards that. That's all I did for that entire stupid bowl.
I tell you, we need to come up with a hashtag sack it. And the Patriots needs to sit back and boycott the NFL, because unless you start taking away their money, they're going to keep doing this. They're trying to make this game global. If you boycott their money and say we're not going to deal with a Bad Bunny and 2 national anthems and kneeling for our flag, and all, if you're not going to deal with that nonsense, you hit them in their pocketbook because they don't care about us anyway.
Right.
I think that'll be one way grassroots.
I think we should have Marcus do the halftime show next year.
I'll do it.
Bad Bunny was fined $10 million for his.
Well, I mean, look at what he was promoting. So let's step away from it was in Spanish, right?
Yeah, which I don't understand any of it.
He was promoting everything that was anti-Christian. That was an anti-Christ performance, and the Super Bowl has been that way for the last few Super Bowls.
Right.
What we saw was him promoting lecherism, deviance, depravity, and alphabetism. Okay, right. Gender bending nonsense. And then on top of that, which I can't even get by those. So I'd love to be able to go get by that. I can't get by that. But then if you are able to get by that, then he was promoting separatism and anti-American sentiment, trying to market it under the guise of the Americas. Okay. Like, don't play in my face. You're taking a piss and you're telling me it's raining. And to your point on the national anthem, first of all, the Black national anthem, or whatever the case is, I didn't vote for that. That's number one. There was no meeting of the Black Council. Black folks didn't vote for that. Right. Okay. Secondly, why would I want that to be my national anthem to represent me as a Black person? Okay. It's weak. I hate to say that. It's weak, but also it's a hymn. Can we talk about that?
To your point, it is separatism, because what they're doing is they're designing it to put us in different boxes. As like Greg Gutfeld says, right? So, Marcus, you can't stand up for the same national anthem, even though we both live in America and we treat each other as Americans. You can only go and, celebrate your own national anthem, but I have to do this one. So right there is your separation. And in this point, I refer to the original. Everybody that's a legitimate citizen of my country is under the same national anthem. So I'm praising the dead guys from the Tuskegee Airmen. I'm praising the guys who fought the conquistadors or whatever else that we had to do, Spanish-American War. It doesn't matter what their nationality colors were, even American Indians, okay?
Well,
the point is we're Americans.
Ask yourself this. How come if the Black national anthem is a hymn, right, like a Christian song, how come we can't talk about God? How come we can't have God present and prayer present? How come we can't talk about that at all? But they want to snatch God out of everything, so much so that they have even drained it from this song. Make it make sense.
Well, how about this? Why can't we call them racist for having the Black national anthem?
Yeah,
why can't we have the national anthem? Because the Black national anthem is like the separate water fountain. It's like the back of the bus.
There you go.
So if you want to sit back, you got to call these racists racist. Instead of when they call you racist, you go hide in the corner. Right. It is what it is. I don't need no damn Black national anthem. I want to see the same B-2 that Glenn saw. I want to see the same F-35 that Glenn saw and John saw. I want to see the same ships that John and Greg was on. I want to see all that stuff. Right. I love the nuclear submarines. I love all that stuff. And one thing I never miss every year is the air show. It's one of my family tell you.
We gotta go then, Jake. I go to all of them around here.
Listen, I never miss the air shows. I love the Thunderbirds. I mean, that's my thing.
My sister gets me VIP seating.
But they don't. I'm coming. I'm coming. I don't see those flying after the Black national anthem, Marcus. I don't see it. So I don't get to see them if I leave. So let's call it for what it is. But nobody wants to because they're scared to call it out for what it is.
We've got Jen Nisa on Jen Nisa, the author, former Psychic Saved, who said the same thing that Marcus had said about Super Bowl halftime shows. They're sacrilegious. And it's not lost on people that have some sense moral compass. Obviously. I mean, you'd think a lot of people would be able to understand that. I mean, that's an embarrassment to us to have something like that.
It is.
You know?
Marcus, I didn't know what your topic was going to be today, but I look like I picked the right shirt.
Yes, you did.
What does it say? I couldn't really read it. Does it say emo black?
Demo black. You can't see the D.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got cut up.
Get rid of you. We can't keep voting just because you're a
demo.
black
Oh, I
kid
like
just,
that.
yes.
Yeah, no demo black. I love it. Good job, man.
Okay,
Now,
so
one more thing.
do
I wouldn't have left out of school though. I wouldn't have known the topic either, but if they told me a free time out of school,
You get to get out of school. Yeah.
I'm out too.
Let's recap. What did we learn today? Epstein thinks that Sandusky was railroaded. We've got high school kids protesting ICE for they don't know why they're protesting them. Right?
Mhm.
We've got armored trucks blowing up with nobody getting hurt, thank God. And we've got assassinations happening. Is there anything that you guys want to touch on that you haven't touched on yet in regard
Yeah, I
to
wanted to touch on how I learned to use my Ep stick.
It's a major award.
Right here.
It's a major award.
where does one get one like that?
You
I
got
don't know.
drag.
Somebody bought it for me.
You got to go drag racing. You got to go.
Yeah, that's right.
You
Why not in
got
New
to go
Jersey?
to drag shows.
I gotta put a dress on them.
You can buy
Remember
that
those
kind of
old
thing in
color
New Jersey.
forms or something? You know, doll clothes. We could probably put a dress like a little tutu on Joe's shitty pants here. You know.
I mean, how did not to get off topic? How did he make it through Congress, through politics, 50 years? Everybody
What
knew this
fucking
guy was
luck.
the
That's about the
70s.
only way he got it through it.
They all knew. China bought them all.
Somebody
he probably
has dirt
bent
on
over
somebody.
a few times, and they said, "Okay, we'll make you a senator now." You know. It was kind of like that Eddie Murphy rendition of Ralph Cramden and Ed Norton, and when he said, "Hey, Norton, come on down here. I got something to show you."
Hummer.
He's got dirt on somebody. They've got dirt on somebody, right? That's where it is.
Man. Well, I'm glad to see Marcus finally came back.
I'm glad to be back.
I thought it was my deodorant. That's why you weren't coming on.
You were cutting a couple of good ones that were a little too rich for me.
Listen,
I could smell them
look,
through the
see, according
screen.
to the screen, I'm blowing it your way. You smell? I cut that cheese. Think that's some Munster, some Swiss.
Marcus has been really tearing things up with all the everything he's addressing. So we got to try to help him. We want to try to help him towards last year, and we got screwed up. We got limited in time. So we have an opportunity to help him now. And congratulations on your studio.
Thank you kindly.
That was great.
All it's missing is Satchmo.
Coming soon.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, looks nice. Looks
You
nice.
just need a couple of Padrones and a little bit of bourbon, and we'll be all set.
And an ashtray for me.
There
Yes.
you go.
But you probably don't smoke, Marcus. You probably don't smoke.
I don't, not at all. I don't drink either, but what do we call it? We'll call it the Stogies and Bourbon Club.
Yes.
Stinky
We gotta come up. We're gonna come up with a good
and
name for it.
Boozy
We're gonna come up
bourbons.
with a good name, yeah.
Stogies and sound bites.
Anything coming up in Rochester or New Jersey or the Mid-Atlantic? Not to give you away, Jake. Or Tennessee this week?
Not this week, but I have submitted legislation locally for our city council to limit biometric surveillance in public and public spaces. So
Good.
I've
Very
submitted that. Hopefully they take it up. We'll see what happens. You guys, you can actually craft legislation locally too. Look into it. We've got to start addressing these things. Not going to address themselves.
Of course.
Anything in New Jersey?
No, but I have to. I'm gonna probably go to. It looks like I have to go to France for a couple days next week, so that's far away from New Jersey.
Olympics related?
That's Friday, Thursday, and Friday-ish.
Olympics related?
No, hell no.
Oh,
Bunch of anti-American pieces of shit. I saw the crap.
Did you see that? Oh man, don't get me started. Sorry.
And then that British one saying "fuck ICE," asshole. You're from England, okay? You have no say in this fight. You fucking red-coated retard. You know.
jeez.
I'm sick of these people. So as far as the Olympics goes, I was cheering for every country to beat the United States just because of them. I felt bad that Von chick, whatever, broke her leg.
Yeah,
And I know it's tough being an American to cheer against your own country, but it's the people that are representing my country and that are treating me like a piece of dog shit that want me to cheer for them. So forget it. No.
Well,
we need legislation like Mark is talking about. If you go on foreign soil, even if you do it in the American Olympics, it's going to be held in LA. If you say stuff like that, it should be an immediate disqualifier. So you shouldn't have to not be a patriot, Glenn. Since he wants to act unpatriotic, you immediately get stripped of that. That should be
100% agree with you.
In Lindsey Vohn's case, I mean, have your ACL removed and then try to go down a hill. I mean, that first bump is going to be bad.
Did you see the demonic opening ceremonies?
No, thank God.
So they've got like an inverted star, like the ones that you use to summon demons and stuff, held up between the arc. I guess it's like this giant archway, and it was all red. And then they put the fireworks, not regular fireworks, but deep red fireworks exploding behind it, and the whole thing was super demonic. Yeah. Super demonic.
Sounds like the gates of hell that you were describing.
Exactly. That's exactly what it's like.
Christ.
And I missed it.
Why do they do that? Do they do that for reaction?
They're telling you what time it is. That's why they're doing it. They're telling you what time it is. It's your choice to listen to them or not. They're showing you what they're about. When somebody tells you shows you who they are, believe them the first time.
I was security for her one day.
Maya
Angelou.
That's awesome.
Jesus. Okay, so we learned that Epstein believes that Sandusky was railroaded because the facts don't prove the prosecution. We've got a daylight armor that was attacked with nobody hurt, with nobody injured. We've got high school kids that are protesting ICE that don't know why they're protesting ICE.
They don't like the winter.
It has been cold.
That's how stupid they are. Hey, breaking news. Jerry Nadler fell asleep during the Pam Bondi hearings.
Oh, and we can look forward to a production on the Sandusky case by the end of the year.
A non-part.
So that should be good. That should be good.
Starring John Snedden.
Well, starring a lot of people that contributed.
I would love to see your documents. I really would.
Yeah. And don't shave your eyebrows.
Stop offending me. Come on, jeez.
So, and we've got some stuff coming up. Glenn, can you tell us why you're going to France or not?
Not on that one. No, I can't. It's kind of high political positions and people involved. So for security reasons, classified reasons, I'm not allowed to disclose it. But I'm going to France, to a part I actually never went to before. So, but it's just a couple days. That's all.
Will you be bringing back cheese?
I might. I definitely will be cutting it if I eat some of their freaking food over there, And if you want, I will bring you back a little statue of the Eiffel Tower.
Oh, there we go.
But I did say where I'm going. This would be perfect. This is classically me. Everybody says I want to dress like Van Gogh. I want to get a 3-wheeled car and I want to drive it into the pool. And then I want to do it again after they take it out. And I'm going to get some fake IDs and my name is going to be Inspector Clouseau.
That's hilarious.
There you go.
That would be funny.
Hilarious.
Way to go.
Don't beat up too many pickpockets while you're over there, okay?
Oh, man.
We got to get Marcus some help, though, with the Republican Party up here, right, Marcus?
Yes, sir. We definitely do
But
need it.
Marcus, your state is a hard sell. When you've got that retard Hochul or whatever, she's out there saying shit. She wants to, turn people into compost and everything else.
Yeah.
Your state is so, it's as bad as mine. It's almost impossible to get support into it.
Yeah, what is the deal now? A doctor can tell you you can kill yourself?
Yeah.
Yes.
Euthanasia.
So that's what, and then like he said, they have human composting too. So that's another terrible thing. I told people once they had the human composting, they were going to start eldercide. That's the elder murder that they're calling medically aided induced death nonsense.
Right.
Okay. And people are like, no, that's never going to happen. Well, here we are, people. Here we are. And they're talking about it's compassionate, but it's not compassionate at all. And I'll touch on New York State and I'll drop it there. India Walton was nominated, was taken on by Anthony Delgado, whatever the hell his name is, Delgado, for his lieutenant governor. Now, she's an open socialist, communist woman, okay? Then Kathy Hochul was endorsed by Zoran Mandani, another open socialist communist. I don't even know who the heck her lieutenant governor lady is, okay? But apparently she lost other Democrats because that is the one with her. So then we've got Delgado drops out the race. So now it's only her. And people are like, oh, well, he wouldn't have won anyway. I said, you're missing the point. He has a openly socialist, okay, lieutenant governor. And now the actual governor is endorsed by an actual socialist. So this is telling you exactly the state of the affairs in the Democrat Party and where they stand right now. They are completely given in to the socialist, communist, anti-American wing of their party.
Mm-hmm.
Did you
As
see the
John
videos?
Kennedy said, they're being hijacked by the Karens.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the videos where they were just moving the snow around on the sidewalk? Not moving it, just moving it around.
I see y'all got a free supermarket where everything's free.
Oh, yeah, I saw that too. Who did that? Poly Market, the betting market people. Who say that we have a 7% likelihood of having a Republican governor. 7%.
Yeah. That's why you can't get support, Marcus.
Well, you know what? It's the local races that matter. The smaller races, cities, towns, up to assembly races. That's where we can make the difference if we really put a focus.
But based on the amount of them, the volume of how many need to be turned Republican before you guys actually get a Republican governor, between the elections happening every couple of years, we're going to be having gray hair and really old when that 7% starts to increase.
Well, look at it this way. It's taken them 100 years to consolidate power on the left. Right. We're not going to get there overnight.
Correct.
So we got to stand the fight.
Yeah. Well, it's going to take, like you said, it's going to take small communities, just like Leroy, New York. New York, it's the home of a corrupt, an allegedly corrupt car dealership that we've had on, where they are being sued. If you remember that, if you guys remember that.
I remember.
So,
Robbie De Niro's lawyer. I forgot what's his name.
Attorney Ed
Paulson.
Right. Do you have anything more to say about Zamtani, the New York?
Just call him what I call him, Mammy Dammy.
Well, he's getting rid of, he's running people out of there left, right, and forward. And the city is going to need the state to increase the taxes on everybody in the state to pay what he's destroyed, which was already in debt in and of itself. So look forward to higher income tax, higher business taxes in New York State. That's what's coming. And it's going to be complete dependency on the government because of him. And we can see that Kathy Hochul is in support of that. So we know what's on the table. We know what time it is.
We know the honeymoon's already over. He's got protesters outside Gracie Mansion throwing shit at the building and everything because they're not happy the way he handled the snowstorm.
Yep.
People
And the
don't have
garbage.
food.
Remember, don't forget about the garbage that's all piled up.
That's too. And then you had 18 people freeze to death out on the streets, the homeless. You know, welcome to communism. You wanted it.
18
You
people
got it.
frozen to, people were standing above steam grates.
And still
Wow.
dying because it was that cold.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It went down to like, with the wind chill, I think it went down to like -15 at some points. You know, you can't last too long, even on a steam grating, because you may be laying on the grating, your lower half is getting warm, but your upper half is getting frozen by that wind passing over you while you're asleep. So you'll wake up with frozen face, but your back is nice and tan.
Your frills, you're getting frozen grilled.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Frozen
New York
grilled.
style, and it'll smell like piss and shit and weed.
Yeah.
What was it? The was St. Lawrence, right? He said what St. Lawrence, when they tried to burn him to death, they were burning him. He said, turn me over, I'm finished on this side.
Jesus Christ.
Strength
Come
of
on,
will, man.
rotisserie, you know?
Yeah. God bless him.
Well, we look forward to a lot of things as a result of today, what we've brought up today. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, Greg will stay at 60 degrees. You're at 60 degrees. That's
I'm
nuts.
60
That's
degrees.
balmy.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I'm the same as Jake, man. I'm balmy at 40.
Marcus, we're at 20, aren't we?
Marcus is in the Arctic.
Oh man, listen, it was negative, what was it, 4 degrees or something? Yesterday, -6 degrees. Day before yesterday, as the actual temperature, not as wind chill.
Your neighbor's an Eskimo, right?
Look, I heard the polar bears were getting real fat, so I might have to cut one open like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay, guys, I'll cut you loose.
All right, you guys.
Early. Appreciate you taking the time to be with us. Glenn, thank you. Marcus, thank you.
It's always
Greg,
a great
thank you.
party to be with you guys, you know?
Yes,
Jake,
Yes.
thank you.